Welcome to Mimi Behind the Mic, where healing happens one story at a time. I'm Beth, your host, Mimi to my precious grandchildren. Let's talk about bullying, boundaries, and beliefs, share our experience, strength, and hope, and most importantly, embrace solutions together. Buckle up. The adventure starts now, behind the mic. Hey there, Mimi Behind the Mic here. I wanted to start off this series of bullying, boundaries, and beliefs with a hot topic that's been in my life, my entire adult life, and has changed course many times through the years, and that is mommy issues. I chose my pillars for this podcast, bullying, boundaries, and beliefs, because they are also things that have been in my life consistently for as long as I could remember. In my own recovery, which started 4.5 years ago, this season of recovery, because I've also had many different experiences in the recovery world with therapy and counseling, started with counseling in school when I was a kid. But this season of life, God has just given me the opportunity to peel back more layers so that I can learn and unlearn a bit more, grow and heal a bit more. So when I had two things cross my path, my feed online this week, and that's when I knew that this hot topic was going to be my first tough conversation with you. Because growing up, we didn't have tough conversations. When somebody was bullying me, we didn't even use that word when I was a kid, but when somebody was making me feel uncomfortable, being mean to me, or just I had a gut instinct that it wasn't right, but didn't know it was my gut instinct, and whoever I would share with, mostly my mom when I was a kid, it would just be brushed under the rug. And, no, he didn't mean that. Oh, no, she didn't mean that. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Just forget about it. Today, that doesn't work for me. Today, that doesn't work in my world for my adult children, but it especially doesn't work in my mind with my grandchildren. It's a different world out here. So I'm very grateful that God has given me the opportunity to learn about this platform. I am not perfect at it by any sense of the word, as you can see. There are so many podcasters out there who have beautiful technology, and I'm learning from the boots up. This is a grassroots effort, but I'm so excited that I have the opportunity to share my experiences of recovering from life after 6 decades of walking many different paths. So the first thing I wanted to share with you was written by a young lady who's also in recovery, and she's rocking it, in my opinion, and it hit home for me when I read it. And it goes like this: I owe myself an apology for staying silent when I should have spoken up, for tolerating what I never deserved, for being too kind to others while forgetting how much my own heart needed protection. I gave endlessly forgiveness, understanding, second chances, because I believed in people's goodness. But lately, I see a lot more of the truth. I was so busy caring for others that I forgot how to care for myself. I let people disrespect me while I smiled through the pain. I kept giving love without limits, even when they stopped appreciating it. And in doing so, I lost pieces of who I am beneath all the kindness I tried to share. I deserve better than silence, better than self-neglect, better than carrying the pain to just keep others comfortable. So today, I apologize to myself, not with guilt, but with purpose, with the promise to be as gentle with my soul as I've been with everyone else's soul. Because being kind shouldn't mean being drained. It should mean being wise, being balanced, being whole. And from now on, I choose that for myself before anyone else. I loved that she wrote about it openly online, because I have found, since the internet and learning how to deal with that, as much as I share that I believe is good to share with people in hopes that they could learn and heal a little more if they choose to, there's also a lot of critics out there. There's a lot of ugliness, just like there's always been. But it seems to be brighter and louder with the internet that we have. Also, on the flip side of that, I've discovered that in recovery, during COVID, recovery became pretty loud online because people had nowhere to go. And that's when I started my recovery 4.5 years ago. And no one questioned it. No one questioned Beth, because Beth always, that's me, by the way, also known as Beth. Beth always had it together. Beth was always the strong one. Beth could always do it by herself, on her own. She never needed help, which was how I was groomed growing up. It was probably all that my mom ever knew. She was the oldest girl of 8. and she was tough as nails. But on the flip side of that, she would give you the shirt off her back. And dealing with my own hurts and my own pains through the years is what motivated me, continues to motivate me to learn more, because I for sure was my mama's rebel. I was never afraid to leave the nest, but I also knew in my gut that there was more, that I was worth more, that I didn't have to keep believing this is okay. I didn't have to keep feeling like, why don't I look like her? Why don't I sound like her? Why don't I have that? Why don't I have him? All those things that plagued me growing up. And I understand that some of them are just commonplace and learning how to live in this world. But I also know, and I'm also very grateful today, that I continue to be motivated and continue to step into the scary place when I was in so much pain that I didn't want to stay there anymore. And each time I did that, my faith was magnified because God was always there to take my hand and lead the way, just like he did 4.5 years ago when I finally surrendered after almost killing myself with alcohol. So my mommy issues started when I was a child. My mom's word was my Bible until I was 18 years old. And that's when those feelings started stirring up of, I don't have to believe that just because she does. That's not how I want to live just because she does. And today the mommy issues have never left me. And unfortunately, I didn't get to a place of healing to have that tough conversation, to ask the tough questions to my mom before she passed. But I'm grateful to say that I did get to a healing place a year into my recovery. And I was able to heal and let go of the resentment I carried my entire life. As I said, my mom was my biggest resentment my entire life. And that's how I carried my burdens, in the form of resentment. And today I know that when I have expectations of someone, which I continue to stumble over, I just did a couple of weeks ago, expectations are a doorway to resentment. And I get in that emotional tornado, whether it's my own expectations that are defeated and deflated, or someone else's expectations of me that just aren't attainable for me today. The emotional tornado, I used to stay in there. I think I lived in the emotional tornado for 58 years. Today, I jump out of it a lot quicker than I did a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 4 years ago, especially. And I trip a lot on my faith walk, but God is always there to take my hand and pick me up and walk with me when I invite him to. And I'm so grateful that I invite him every day. When I wake up and say, thank you, God, before my feet hit the floor, I'm making for a good day for myself, which opens the door for me to be the woman I want to be today. And that is a woman that glorifies God. In tiny little ways, I show my love as a mom to adult children and as a Mimi in tiny little ways that I wouldn't have 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But I'm grateful that I'm able. I'm grateful that I'm willing and that I want to. So life is definitely a continual turn of events. Today, I'm learning how to live life on life's terms, not on Beth's terms, not on my mom's terms, which is a totally new concept for me. When I heard that 4.5 years ago, I said, what the heck does that mean? And when I read that and listened to people's experience, strength, and hope about that topic, I was like, wow. It all goes back to being honest with myself. And that was the first diligent commitment I made to myself and my God 4.5 years ago. That through the fear of almost killing myself and numbing all these feelings for 2 years, alcohol was a great number, a great fear blanket. Until it wasn't. When I decided that I was done, that I didn't want to die, but I definitely didn't want to live like I was anymore. And I totally believed in my spirit that God had more for me. My first commitment was to be honest with myself and with God. And that grew into being honest with my sponsor. She's a hard ass, but God knew exactly what I needed because I was able to be vulnerable and transparent with this woman for the first time I spoke to her. And it took me a couple weeks to even ask her to be my sponsor and to help me learn how to do this life without alcohol. She was honest with me from day one, and she continues to be. So I'm so grateful God has always provided my needs. He has never broken a promise to me. I let go of him. I left him in my rear view when my life blew up. Gosh, it's almost 18 years ago now. When people I trusted betrayed me to the tune of 75 grand. as a single mom who just moved her world from Brooklyn to Texas. Nothing is too big for God. The issues that have been so huge to me in my life and knocked me on my butt were not huge to God. He was always there, offering me the clarity and reality of what I just went through. And today I believe that the pains of life, the hard, tough parts of life, they all have to do with somebody I love. Love and grief have the same power to me in my experience, because love is the greatest gift God gave us. It's the greatest gift he gave the world when his son died on the cross for us, for me. And when I introduced myself to him back in 1992, I was in awe. But I always knew there was more of God than I heard in the Catholic Church growing up through my sacraments that I just always did not like and always felt less than. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be having this tough conversation about mommy issues. You know, my motherhood was my greatest dream. I was always a caretaker. I was always a nurturer, but my caretaking was not the healthiest. Today, I can practice caretaking in a healthier way because I protect myself first, but with God. So it's the healthiest that I've experienced so far. There's nothing healthier. There's nothing more powerful. There's nothing that empowers me and equips me more to be who I want to be than my God. So I'll continue to trust him today. The second thing that crossed my path is actually a song, and it's by Matt McClure. And the first time I saw this man, heard his voice before I saw his face online, I was like, oh my gosh, that voice just goes right to my soul. I hope you listen to it. His name is Matt McClure, and the song is called The Shore. Out of balance, you fell into the ocean again. My heart was sinking when I saw you didn't know how to swim. I tried to pull you out. You said, just let me drown. You won't let go of all the things that bring you down. Then I jumped into the ocean. Darkness covered my head. You pulled me down into the deep. I tried to give you my breath, but you didn't care. I touched your face and said, I've got to let go. I'm running out of air. I'm not going to read the chorus. I hope you listen to it. It's powerful. Took off my cape. This superhero will not save you again. You are the one who wears the mask. You are the one who pretends that you don't need my help. Now I've got nothing left. Maybe the bravest thing I can do is save myself. I'm swimming for the shore. And I love that because my mommy issues in this season of life, in the past couple of seasons of life, have been my own mom, but also being a mom and being a Mimi. That is what motivates me, being a mom and being a Mimi, to learn better ways, to continue to peel back the layers of my hurt and my pain so that I can heal from them and be free from them and go on and enjoy the rest of my life with the people I love the most as much as I can. Today, I have more life behind me than I have ahead of me. And I want to love those I love the most the best I can. And yes, I continue to trip and fall on my faith walk, as I mentioned, but God is always there to pick me up and to lead the way to a better way. So thank you for listening today. You can find me on Facebook on Mimi Behind the Mic. My website is mimibehindthemic.org, where you can read a lot more about my experiences in this life, if you're interested, where you can share your experiences, strength, and hope with me. I would love that. That's one of the big reasons why I'm learning how to do this podcast thing, because I want to have the tough conversations. I want to continue to learn how to deal with bullying as an adult, because I sure have experienced it. Mean girls grow up to be mean women. Bullying boys grow up to be bullying men. I know, because I was one of them. And I've experienced the pains of them just recently in different paths of life. So to also learn how to put healthier boundaries in place. And my beliefs. My beliefs are my core, my foundation, my pillars. As long as I continue to believe in God today, I know anything is attainable for me. No matter how scary it looks, no matter how painful it feels. I know I can get past it by going through it with my God. I know when I'm in the fire of emotional pain, my God is in there with me. And if I stay in the fire until I'm released and I know it in my gut, it's time to take the next step, He's with me. And I've known when it's time to take the next step in this path of recovery because my faith is magnified every time I stay in the fire and trust Him a little more. So it works. And, I hear all the time, it works if I work it. And today I want to keep working it. So thanks for being here with me. And thanks for showing up. I hope you continue to show up as I plan on continuing to show up, to hear about and to talk about some more tough conversations that I've waited a lifetime to talk about because I want to heal and grow and be free of them. And I'm really, really grateful for them. I'd like to leave you with one of my mom's many sayings that used to haunt me, but today I embrace it because I see it a little more clearer. Learning how to live present versus 150 miles an hour as a single mom, learning and accepting and working for clarity of mind that I've never had before. My mom's saying mean they just hit different. And this one is be good to yourself. I embrace it, and I hope you do too. With whatever's going on in your life, pause for a minute. Take a second to remember to be good to yourself because you're worth it. Thank you.